Hello everybody and welcome back to Simon's Gaming Academy. Today we are going to give you a battle report that was played at the HadoCon tournament, which I recapped last week, and it is a game between Brian Woods and myself. Brian is playing Heretic and I am playing Ashmael. I thought I know we had a game against Heretic on the channel recently as well, but everybody seems to be playing Grymkin at the moment, and to quite a good degree of success, I would say. Grymkin seem to be placing at most tournaments that they participate in, and winning quite a few tournaments as well. And so it's probably helpful for you guys out there to see some battle reports against Grymkin and be able to kind of identify potential spots where you could make some differences in your gameplay to increase your win rate. Okay, this is essentially what I'm getting at here. So let's go through the lists. So Brian's list, which was Heretic, 2 Cage Rages, 1 Slaughterhouse, Baron Tonguelick, 1 Death Knell, 2 Grave Ghouls, Isiah the Dread Harvester, Lady Karianna Rose, 2 units of Dreadrots, 1 unit of Hollowmen with Holden as the UA, and the Bloody Parliament. My list for this game was Ashmael, obviously. He was the only thing available from his box at this tournament of note. So basically, he's using the first 2 boxes, which are the Final Hunt and Hyacinth's box for this tournament. So we have Ashmael. He has 2 Strygons. One is a Muzzled Blind Obedience Shield Guard bot. The second one is a Fast Strike bot, so he's got the Venomous head and the Tamed conditioning, which is Fast Strike. We then have Sybaris and 2 Vordaks. One is the Shooty Vordak, which has the Screecher head and the Razor Fan wings, and then and the conditioning is Faint. And then the second one is a Fighty Vordak, which is the Lamprey head, the Bladed Armour, and the Feral or Bloodthirst Animus. I then have Cylena, who, as soon as there's literally anything else available, like this week, what's her name? Nissa came out, 4 points, straight swap, right? No, not even a second thought. But for this tournament, she was available, and I was like, oh, I should play her before paying her out, so I played her in this tournament. We then had Lanyssa Ryssyll with Benkei Sasha, 2 Strygon Riders, 2 units of Fane Knights, and the last watch for 100 points. So I won the role to go second and elected to take the side that I thought had the more beneficial terrain on. Of note, you can see in the bottom right hand corner that Brian had a hill with the flag on it. I should probably mention the scenario as Payload. So the objective is to get your 50 mil to your opponent's flag terrain, and interestingly, that hill didn't exist at the start of this game. So the only thing that he could have put his flag on was this body of water, shallow water at the bottom of the screen, or the train in the middle of the screen. And we came to an agreement before the game started that if that was the actual terrain setup, that basically Brian auto loses, because it only takes me 1 or 2 turns to dunk the 50 mil objective, and usually if you can do that without your opponent doing it, they can't chase far enough to get it to catch up to you on points, and you just win. So we put a hill on the table, and we put it in a position where the flag could get to it. So yeah, remember, I think I've talked about doing this before, but if you can, make it so that your opponent has a good game as well, not just an auto win. Even final round of a tournament where you winning could determine the difference between you getting a podium or not. It didn't matter in the end, funnily enough, for this one, but it could matter somewhere. All right, so he runs all of his stuff up. Heretic casts you can see the firewall there on the train carriages, the empty train carriages, which count as hills, and the rest of his army just runs up. All of the Hollowmen are on the hill, and yeah, I'm just measuring out distances here. Also of note with the terrain, those the little crates you can see in front of Benkei and Sasha here. Normally, I would play them as a wall, essentially, so they provide cover. They're just an odd shape, but in this tournament, they are being played as obstructions, so they are infinitely high, and you cannot charge through them unless you've got like flight, like some of my beasts do. But of note, Benkei and Sasha don't have flight. So we're now measuring out threat ranges. So my sole objective in this game is to get Pursuit onto the house. That's the first objective. He does have a Cage Rager over there. He can potentially get 2 or 3 corpses on it, but I can just hard cast. Not petition. Did I say Petition? I meant Pursuit. Get Pursuit on the house. I can hard cast it 3 times, so if he's only got 2 corpses on a Cage Rager within 3 inches, the 3rd cast will go through and it will get on the house. And what that means is that whenever he moves his house and tries to pull in one of my War Beasts or one of my Battle Group models, or even my caster, I can move to such a position so that he can't actually drag me through the models so he can't get the thing that he wants to get. And then it'll come up multiple times this game. So Ashmael casts Mirage on one of the Strygon Riders. He casts Admonition on himself, and then he runs up into a forest. And I just put models there just in case he tries. I think during this game I must have forgotten that Ashmael has stealth, because I don't think there are very many good outs for Grymkin into mass stealth. Yeah, I don't think they have flare or anything like that. Anyway, being cautious here, because as you would know, the Heretic has Gallows, and so what that means is that if he wants to, he can run the Cage Ragers that have a corpse up, and they can act as an arc node, and he can pull things in, and then he can charge them with other things like Dreadrots, which I don't want to get charged by Dreadrots. So I'm putting a lot of models in positions where they can't be dragged with Gallows, and where there are other models in the way, basically. So you can see it looks like an absolute traffic jam in the middle here. That is the complete intention, because what it means is that he has to kill Fane Knights at armor 19 with his minimal ranged presence to get them out of the way so that he can pull stuff. And then obviously at the bottom here, I have Benkei Sasha up against a round piece of terrain so that he basically can't get a line to drag them with Gallows. And so I'm just denying Gallows here. The one thing that I don't take into account is that, and this is a trick that people can do against you, so just be aware. The Dreadrots with their Dark Seduction can Dark Seduction your one-shot Strygon Riders and make them use their Lance to hit something, and then they can't use their Lance in your next turn, which is obviously very sad for the Strygon Rider, but it also will do a lot of damage. So what he does here, he moves up the Bloody Parliament to within 8 of both of my Strygon Riders, and yeah, just looks to cast at them with some Dark Seductions. So Brian was under the weather here and forgot basically what he was doing. He then doesn't make any attacks, moves on to the Crypt Ghoul and gives a corpse. And then I go, did you want to actually cast Dark Seduction with your Bloody Parliament? And he goes, oh yeah, thanks, that'd be nice. And then he gets one, Strygon Rider walks back, hits, I think, the other Strygon Rider with his armor-piercing attack and does some damage, but importantly, he isn't able to hit the front Strygon Rider with the Rats, sorry, not Rat 6, Arcane Attack 6 attacks. And he's needing 7s with rerolls, so it's not unexpected that he would hit it, but he doesn't hit. Oh, that's right, because again, Brian was sick during this game, wasn't thinking as well as he normally would be, forgot that they could cut themselves for rerolls, and after I had reminded him about the going back and doing the actual Dark Seduction attacks, I then elected not to remind him that his models could reroll their attack rolls, and he didn't do it. And so basically he had 3 goes at a 7, he got one of the 7s out of the 3, and that was all she wrote. So now there are 2 Bloody Parliament members, one of my favourite expressions, dick swinging in the breeze, and they are ready to be eaten by basically my whole army. And that's because if they hit an attack, the Bloody Parliament have an ability. I don't remember what it's called, but basically it's I don't need to actually sacrifice my Bloody Parliament to Dark Seduction you because they just teleport away. The actual name of the ability on the Bloody Parliament is Shadow Walk. So once per activation, when this model hits an enemy model with an arcane attack, after the attack resolves, you can place this model completely within 5. Their Dark Seductions are range 8, so you can most times be able to guarantee that the Bloody Parliament, if they hit with their spells, are going to be 13 inches away from the thing, at least the thing that they hit. I hate the Bloody Parliament. I think they're too... this is just going to come through with every green thing. I just think most things in Grymkin are just undercosted by like 1 or 2 points, and I think that's why they're so efficient at the moment. Bloody Parliament being one of those things, Isiah being one of those things, Dreadrots being one of those things, the House being one of those things, the Death Knell being one of those things. Most things in this list, basically. And all right, so now he's done a bit of shuffling, a bit of moving around. He's putting some stuff behind the train because there is a 40 mil objective behind that train there, and that is the extent of his turn. So sad times for that one Strygon Rider. He's not having a good time because he got Dark Seductioned. But I am going to essentially make sure that I can get onto the Bloody Parliament models, and hopefully repo or move onto that flag is my plan. Because if I can score my 50, score my 40, and contest his 50, I'm probably not contesting his, contest his 40 because I'm not contesting his 50, just because it's so far away and behind the house. I think I actually measure it out at some point, but it's unrealistic that he's going to get to that point. All right, so we go the Strygon Rider. He charges into one of the Bloody Parliament members, kills it, and then he just repos onto the hill. So now we are engaging the shooting unit. We are on the hill and stopping him from scoring the flag. And so what that means is that I should be going up 3-1 this turn, which to me is a good position to be in for Payload, especially when you can start moving your 50. I know my opponent's going to start moving his 50 as well, but I've got a bit more time to do what I want to do. I don't rightly know, what Arcana he played this turn. I'm going to wager Shroud, just because that seems to be what all Grymkin players play turn 2. But we're just measuring here to make sure that everybody's staying within 3 inches of that 40 mil objective. So then we're going to have 3 goes at a 7 to kill the Bloody Parliament member. One of them rolls a 7 because they're an 8, I think. It's probably an 8 because they're 15. And I remove that other Bloody Parliament member, and I'm on the objective. We then move the cats up just 2 out of 9 inches of that Cage Rager, so he can't charge the Cage Rager. And then second cat moves up. He is going to be, drop models on top of each other. Good job, idiot. He's going to control that 50. And then that basically means that my Vordak can go and do whatever I want it to. Now, all that he is doing here is moving to 12 inches, and he's putting 2 shots into 2 goobers from the Hollowmen unit. So the def 13, they go to 15. He needs 10s. He misses the first 10, reloads, gets the second 10. It's power 8, they're armor 12. I need a 5. I kill that one guy, and then I feint back behind the infinitely tall obstruction. And that's all she wrote. He's an 8-point war beast that just did some stuff. It's fine. So we put Cylena up on a hill. I think I honestly don't even know what she did. I think maybe she shot a Dreadrot, maybe. We then run the other Strygon Rider over to the other side so that he's within 3 inches of the flag, which is on that back carriage of the train. So I've got both Cylena and the Strygon Rider on that objective. And I'm looking here to see if I can run Fane Knights to get anyone within 2 inches of his 50. Because if I can go at 3-0, I feel like I'm in a very good position here. And speaking of Nyssak coming into this list, if this was a list that had Nyssak in it, this turn I probably would be bringing Nyssak on, and she'll be, walking and jumping onto that back objective literally to deny him. And I think that's actually not a bad use of 4 points. These are Fane Knights. They're running up so that I can contest his 40 mil objective in the middle. And essentially, I'm just only putting one guy on there, and then I'm going to position other guys 2 inches back so that they are contesting the 40 mil objective. And then now we go up with Ashmael, and the strategy which I talked to you about before we do this turn. So he casts Pursuit onto the house. I think I Blessing of the Gods this turn so that I can repo him as well. I'm pretty sure. I think that adds up 2, 4, 6, 7 to upkeep Mirage, and then 8 for that checks out. That's probably what I did. and he's at the back camping 0, but that's fine because I can put so many things in front that I'm not actually worried about him getting to me. But what I did there was, again, he had the Cage Rager at the top of the screen. He had 2 corpses on him. I basically just went up and went Pursuit. No, not Pursuit. Is it Pursuit? Yes, Pursuit. I get Pursuit and the one on Vorsalis confused. Anyway, Pursuit. So I cast Pursuit 3 times. He negates it with 2 corpses, and I basically just, I put it on the house. We then move the 50s because we both grow 50, so I go up 3-1, and we go into turn 3. So because of where the house is, and because of line of sight, and because I've got Pursuit on the sorry, not the house, the train, because of where the train is, and because I've got Pursuit on the house, I'm feeling pretty comfortable this turn. Just because of line of sight reasons, he is probably going to be unable to get any of his stuff onto well, like, he can get stuff onto my 50, but he's throwing it away if he does that. And if he contests my 40, he's probably throwing something away as well. And if he doesn't do the house first, then I get to make a late reposition with my models. And if he gives me a charge onto Heretic, I'm just going to take it. With Sybaris or the fighting Vordak, I'll just do it because I think he's 15-15, needing 9s to hit, and then I will go for that pretty much every time, I think. When I can throw daggers at him as well. So yeah, we are just considering what we're going to do here. He's thinking about how does he get rid of Cylena, which is an interesting question because he probably, like, he can. But she's difficult. She's on a hill. She's def 17. I think the house boosts attacks into her and misses. I think he needs 12s to hit Cylena. Sounds about right. On a hill, Cylena is 15, goes to 17. Yeah, so he needs 12s, and I think he did 2 rerolls on that. I want to say 2 rerolls, and didn't get her, basically. I don't know what he damaged with. He damaged it with something. I can't remember. Anyway, he can choose to not to sacrifice his movement to not trigger Pursuit as well, which I think is what he did this turn, which is, in my mind, also quite a, like, that's a win for me because it means that his house isn't moving and I can do other stuff around it and its threat remains static. So, yeah. I think Isiah then goes in and does some Threshery and does one of the worst Isiah activations I think I've ever seen. And oh yeah, here we go. This is the house going. You dragged in a Fane Knight. Yay, good job. Yeah, he sacrificed his movement, aimed, and dragged in a Fane Knight and ate it, obviously. Yeah, no, I think this was the worst activation of Isiah that I've seen. Probably because he was hitting over the wall, so he's def 14, and he wasn't a charge attack, so he needs a 7. He obviously can re-roll if he wants to, but I think he just didn't roll any 7s. And so the guy on the top of the train who was contesting the 40 is now living on 1 wound. Yes, I'm pretty sure he hit him and didn't kill him. I mean, they're armor 19, so they're difficult to shift, but he's a power 13, whatever, weapon master, because why not? He then runs the first unit of Dreadrots just to contest the objective at the top, the flag objective, which hopefully you would hope that I'm able to get rid of those guys. Anyway, you would hope so. And then the Cage Rage goes in, removes the Strygon Rider with relative ease. Like, I think his power, I want to say he's power 19 base, maybe he's 17 base. Cage Rager, power 17 base, and so he's that guy, probably just judging on where Ashmael is, probably wasn't within 10 inches, and so he's a dice plus 1, so it doesn't take much to kill him. Probably if 2 attacks hit, he's probably dead, because it's 8 damage per attack that he gets through at dice plus 1. All right, so then runs the Hollowmen go up and take some shots, don't do a whole lot. The Dreadrots then run to contest my 50, and boy do I have a lot of things to kill in my next turn. Alright, so he can't move the 50 over the wall, so he has to stop it short of the wall, and I don't score anything. So it's 4-3 at the top at the end of his turn 3, and then we go into my turn 3. So this turn I have 4 Hollowmen with Holden to remove. I have 5 Dreadrots on my 40. I have 5 Dreadrots on my flag, and I have, ideally, if I can get those guys to begin with, then we maybe go for the Cage Rager. But one of the other things that I see as a potential target here, instead of all those things, I think, just because I know what Isiah can do, I think it was this turn that I realised that he was within range and that I could get him. So we go with Ashmael. He upkeeps Admo. He upkeeps. He doesn't upkeep Mirage because that dude died. And he just throws some daggers at Dreadrots to try and hopefully clear off that objective. He feats of note, and what that means is that my 40. My 50, my flag, and his 40 all have desecration tokens on them, and that means I get an extra dice drop, the lowest on attack and damage rolls. Lanyssa goes in here. What I'm actually hoping for is a Blood Boon attack with her, and I get it. I look to throw a Hand of Destruction onto the Holdens. I can't remember what they're called. The Hollowmen, not the Holdens. So I get the Hand of Destruction with the Blood Boon from killing a Dreadrot, and then I just spend up all of her fury to kill guys, and then she sprints away. Because I really do not want her dying, if I can avoid it. Right, so she's gone. She's killed 2 Dreadrots that are on the objective. She's cast Hand of Destruction onto the Hollowmen. So then we go with, oh yeah, he must have put ill omens up this turn. So, or whatever the -1/-1 is, because that's what we're measuring there. These guys are on the 50, so I'm boosting. I get to generate hunger, I eat them, and then I get to throw some daggers because I killed those guys in my initial attacks. The wings on this Vordak give torment, so he can't tough with the Dreadrots. He then throws 2 daggers at the 2 Hollowmen and kills them. So my job is getting relatively easier at this point. And so now I've only got 3 Hollowmen and the 3 Dreadrots at the bottom. I think I've cleared off all the Dreadrots on my 50 mil here, and I've just got 3 Dreadrots to kill on my 40, and then we're just measuring where we want things to go. So we go with the Strygon Rider. He charges into a Dreadrot. I think he knocks down that Dreadrot, and then he repositions to contest Brian's 50, be behind a wall, and be in combat with the Cage Rager, which is not really where the Cage Rager really wants to be. So then we go with one of my Strygons. I think this is the shooty one, I believe, and boy does he not do any work. He kills the knockdown one, and then kills, one other, I think, and that was it. And then we go with Cylena. And we're basically looking where we want her to go. And where she goes, because the Dreadrots are re-engaging her out of the way, she actually walks over to the left-hand side of the scenario terrain and puts a shot into a Grave Ghoul and kills him. Which, she's got 2 shots at Rat 7 and they're Power 10 Webmaster. It's not unbelievable. I think she needs 7s to hit because she was under Ill Omens. I'm going to make sure that I'm saying that's the correct card. Yes, that is the correct card, Ill Omens. And she pops his Grave Ghoul, the solo that gives corpses, which is important when you've got a Cage Rager over there on 0 corpses, because now he's not generating extra corpses with Found 1. And then we send a cat in to the Hollowmen. He kills 1 Hollowman, and I think it was actually Holden that he killed, and then he repos onto the flag objective, the scenario terrain at the back. And you can see a little Lego bunny next to him. He's the prey for the the Bloody Parliament of note. So then we go with the final hunt. Last watch. And they kill the Holden Bros, and that is the Holden Bros gone. So then we come back with the other cat just to body block Lanyssa against any potential arcs even though he's probably not going to be able to get the Cage Rager. Well, he could just walk the Cage Rager out, I guess, but he's not going to kill the cat with the Cage Rager. And so now we basically decide what we're going to do and where we're going to go. And I go, you know what? I don't like Isiah. I'm going to draw line of sight to him, echolocate him, and then the Vordak's going to go into Isiah, and he's going to contest the 40mm objective in the middle. So the fighty Vordak goes over to the other side of the train. He eats Isiah because he is within 3 inches of that 40mm objective, and so I get an extra dice on attack and damage rolls, and he eats Isiah. I think maybe he eats another thing over there. I can't remember if it was maybe the final member of the Bloody Parliament, maybe? No, I think he was just out. I think that's what I've just done there. And then I've just given myself some Shadow Shift targets. Shield Guard Strygon goes to a position in front of Ashmael just so he can't be pulled. Again, I think I forgot that he had stealth here, but that's fine. Like, it is what it is. And then, yeah, we look to move the objective. And we move it once more up. And then we go, okay. Let's get into turn 4 of the game. So I score 3, Brian scores 0, and I am 2 turns away from dunking the 50mm objective. He doesn't have many things to run to contest it anymore, which is important. He'll have to put either the Cage Rager or the Crypt Ghoul on it to stop me from scoring it, and that means that the Crypt Ghoul will have to run, or the Cage Rager will have to. He can't run if he's in combat, so he'll have to walk and maybe repo card him or something like that. But basically, Brian's running out of models to do stuff with. So in the middle, he's focusing down my Vordak here. I think he puts a couple of gallows into it. I just can't remember, which way he goes and what happens to him. I think maybe Tonguelick did. No, this is definitely Heretic activating here, and I think this was the turn he went +2/+2. And then he misses a gallows, which is obviously very frustrating. But he used F13. So the house goes, he clocks to me, I trigger pursuit, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do here? And he walked into combat with the Vordak, and so it's a fairly easy choice for me to move the Vordak out of the way. I think, or actually, do I move Sybaris? No, because he can drag Sybaris, so I think I actually move him. Let's see what I do. I don't actually remember which model I moved. So the options here are moving the Vordak at the bottom, really no point. Moving the Vordak in the middle, which he does, and then he goes for a shot on Sybaris. Boosted, does damage, gets Sybaris directed. Look, the right choice here was probably to move Sybaris behind a model or move Sybaris closer to the shield guard, but I elected to move the Vordak because he'd already activated. He had already activated his caster, and so he didn't actually have many models. Importantly, where he moved Sybaris to, he was within 4 inches of my shooty Strygon, and I elected to Shadow Shift to the shooty Strygon this turn to stop the house from killing him. I mean, that's also not a bad option, really. But yeah, to avoid all that, the Vordak could have probably shifted to one of the Fane Knights behind the train instead, like when the house tried to attack him. So it's like it's much of a muchness. But yeah, Sybaris gets out of combat, so he's now got very limited models to actually do work with. He's got the Cage Rager at the top, who is now free because the house killed the Strygon Rider, and then he's got the Cage Rager at the bottom, who is now wailing on my cat. And with the +2/+2, he goes to mat 8. He needs 6 to hit, and then he's dice plus. He goes to power 19 this turn, so dice +3. I can't remember if I had Rymice on him or not. I probably did. No, I probably didn't. Anyway, he kills the I believe that's Benkei, and gets his corpse token up there. So then the other Cage Rager goes for a walk. I Shadow Shift again with Sybaris into and eats Cylena. So yeah, she was purposeful, I guess. So Sybaris is still alive, and he doesn't really have anything to get onto my Vordak. So yeah, it's an interesting turn. Alright, so at the end of this turn, he scores 1 for his 50 and he scores 1 for his flag. My Vordak is contesting his 40 in the middle. I score 1 for my 50, I score 1 for my 40, and I don't score 1 for my flag. So I think we go, yeah, 8 to 7. What did he score? 1, 2... Maybe he did score his 40 here. Maybe I didn't put the Vordak in the correct position. I think, but actually that's maybe what happened. So then we do some bit of reprisal moves with the, well, we'll do some frenzying first, and basically the Vordak on the bottom gets sacrificed so he can frenzy, and he goes rip-roaring into the Cage Rager. And does probably no damage. But he puts a Torment on him, he would, so that, I guess, is relevant. So then we Mirage, oh that's right, we cast Mirage on Sybaris last turn, so he Mirages up. These are our Bitter Reprisal moves, because all I'm going to do is send these guys into the Crypt Ghoul at the top and try and control that flag, because if I can control the 50 at the end of the turn, I'm pretty sure where the Vordak ended up, I was already scoring my 50, and so there's really no way he could stop. So I should score my 50, score his flag, dunk the 50 this turn, score my 40, and probably also score my flag. And so I should go up by a significant margin this turn and be pretty much unassailable at the end, because oh, what happened this turn? That's right, the Vordak, the Strygon at the top, he just needed to eat one bloody Dreadrot, and he just could not do it. And so I had to send the Fane Knights in. And I wanted to send them into the Cage Rager so that they were boxing him in and holding him on the objective. Unfortunately, I couldn't do that, and so I had to play Careful Recon on one of those guys to Reaper him onto Brian's 50 to contest it. And we're getting to the end of the turn now, so Ashmael goes, I put him behind the train just so he's on the 40, and basically is out of range of charging with the house. So we score the 50, we score the flag, we score my 40, we score my flag, and we're contesting his 50 and his 40, and so I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points this turn and go up 15 to 7. And that, because he cannot, even if he controls, I think we measured it out, and I think if he controls both 40s and has a battle group model on his 50, then he is able to move his 50 and score the flag as well. And even if he does that, then he catches up to me. But he's just got so few models to do it with. He's got to kill Sasha on the 40 in the middle. He's got to kill the 3 Last Watch models on the hill. Yeah, 3 Last Watch models on hill is a hard ask with what he's got available. I've got a full health Vordak at the bottom who is sitting on the Cage Rager, so he can't charge anyone or get anywhere. And I've got 2 Fane Knights and a Strygon on the flag terrain at the bottom. And I've also got Lanyssa of note contesting the 40 in the middle. So Lanyssa's probably going to be the hard one to get rid of here. She's hiding behind a forest. It's going to be difficult for Brian to get there. And so there's quite a lot of this turn that is... he's got quite a bit of time left on his clock. I think I was quite low at this point. Brian has a fair bit of time left on his clock at the moment to basically make the decision on how he's going to finagle this with the limited pieces that he has available. And... you know, what would you do? Do you move the Cage Rager to, or how do you get rid of the Vordak that's engaged in the Cage Rager so he can't charge? What do you do with the house that still has Pursuit on it? How do you get rid of, I think Sybaris is in the middle as well on the 40, so the Sybaris is engaging the house as well, so he needs to kill Sybaris before he does anything with the house. Which, I mean, he's got his caster there who's got, who just hits automatically and is power 13, so... it's not unrealistic that he would be able to clear off Sybaris fairly easily, but then he's got to kill the Fane Knight that's on the objective. Yeah, so we both have kind of limited models to do the rest of the game with, and he can't simply contest. He has to dunk his objective, or he just automatically loses. So he needs to get 5 this turn really, and the only way to get that, yeah. So there you go. There we're measuring out the measuring it out, I think we figure out he needs to move it 6 inches. So he needs, maybe it was 5. Anyway, I can't remember. But yeah, he needs to move it a certain amount of distance, and that means that he needs to cap both of the 40s, essentially, is what the game comes down to not lose. His caster then goes into Sybaris and just goes nuts and just absolutely. Oh no, that was the Vordak. Sorry, that's right. The Vordak is still there as well, just doing work. I think he ate the last member of the bloody Parliament. Maybe he did something. He was behind that. But yeah, so I think Heretic goes in and kills both the Vordak and Sybaris. The house goes in. I pursuit the Strygon out of combat with it, and I move Ashmael over here. This move with Ashmael, again, I think I forgot that he had stealth, but anyway, I move him over here, and then obviously, as you can see, the Cage Rager is well within walk and punch range here, and I just go, yeah, right, punch him. So he punches him, he rolls the 10 that he needs to hit him, and does damage, and I go, right, I'm just going to Shadow Shift this Vordak, and then GG, it's game over. There's nothing he can do, because he doesn't have any way to kill Lanyssa. And then I'm like, no, you know what, let's just play it out. Let's just see what happens if I didn't Shadow Shift, and if I just stay there and try and tank your hits. And then he just basically kills the Vordak anyway, so it doesn't actually change any outcome of the game. Shadow shifting to the Vordak is 100% the correct choice, by the way, but the other correct choice is not putting him within walk and punch range of a Cage Rager, and just putting him basically back 5 inches out of range of the house is the correct position to put him. And so then he doesn't have any other models to do work with, and yeah, we call it there. So the game ends 15-7 with a win to Ashmael at the final round of HaterCon. And yeah, a win into Grymkin is always a big victory in my mind. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope that was an informative game. It was certainly a close one up until the 50 got dunked at the very end. It's always difficult playing against Grymkin. I have lots of thoughts about Grymkin, because I think I just play them too much, and I can see the issue with where they are most times that I play into them. But you know, this was a good game that showcased, I think, the strength of Ashmael, the ability of him to kind of dictate the flow of the board with pursuits, the big one, especially on a colossal. Any army of your opponent that has a colossal that you can get pursuit onto is obviously a massive boon to you. It was, you know, I think I demonstrated good use of dispensable warrior models to body block when you have an opponent that has drag, that can drag through any kind of terrain, and but models stop it, thankfully now, since the update. And yeah, I think this was a good kind of show of what Ashmael can do. So next tournament is this weekend. It's the Australian Team Championships, essentially. It's called the OTC, the Oceanic Team Championships, but that kind of harkens back to a time when we had people coming from New Zealand, and we had people coming from, I think we had was it a Singaporean team? Anyway, we had some sort of Asian team once that came as well, which was really amazing. But unfortunately, I don't think Warmachine's quite at that level of popularity again yet. I'd love for a Filipino team to come. I think I've been talking to one of the guys that hangs out in our Discord. He's getting together a play group in the Philippines, so you know, maybe one day they'll come to the OTC. But I'm playing a Vorsalis and Ashmael combo at the tournament. My teammates are playing Kithgard, Dark Operations, Old School Scorn. I think it's Army of the Western Reaches is the one. And then Grymkin, because of course every team that wants to do well is probably going to have Grymkin. And, you know, they're probably also going to have Fane and Old Umbre. And we don't have an Old Umbre player in our team. So, I don't know, let's hope that the Army of the Western Reaches catches people out a little bit. But yeah, the games from that tournament will obviously be recorded again, and I will do a tournament recap, and then probably, if I can get some more interesting games, now that the Ashmael box is out and I've got my models with minimal breaks, thankfully, then I think those battle reports will start to be more interesting as you get to see a lot more of the army showcased. And yeah, those battle reports should be fun. So I hope you look forward to that. And thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you next time.